Okay, moving on to the next segment of today's show. I wanted to talk a little bit about a game from over the weekend that really stuck out to me. And if you missed it, in the Big Ten, the Illinois Fighting Illini, who went into this game ranked as the number 5 team in the country, they went on the road to Madison, to the Kohl Center, to take on the number 23rd ranked Wisconsin Badgers. And one of the reasons why a lot of people were really looking forward to this game going in was because of the major storyline. Illinois guard Ayo Donsumu, a guy who was considered to be one of the best players in college basketball. Many people have him as the National Player of the Year. He is phenomenal. He was injured in this game. And for a team like Illinois, I believed that not only going into this game, but especially after this game, Illinois has a real shot at a number 1 seed. And the reason for that is because their fellow Big Ten brethren, the Ohio State Buckeyes, they actually have been in a slump, losing 3 games in a row. They are very quietly, as we speak, moving off of the number 1 seed line. And that means that the 4th number 1 seed is super wide open. And when you look at the teams that are going to be competing with Ohio State, I believe that the Fighting Illini have a very good chance to beat the Buckeyes as that number 1 seed, and maybe Illinois even has a chance to get to the Final Four. And I saw a lot to like on Saturday against the Badgers. I talk about it all the time on this show, right? It is obviously never easy to win a championship in any sport. You need a star player or two, but you also need those key role players to step up and make timely plays at timely times. And when you look at Illinois, I've been saying this throughout the season, right? Ayo Donsumu, phenomenal player, one of the best players in college basketball, explosive guard. If you would want anyone leading your team throughout the season, he is going to be the guy that you want to do that. You look at Kofi Cockburn, one of the best big men in the country, an absolute matchup nightmare for opposing teams, an absolute beast. He has been very good of late. So you have those 2 guys. But my problem with Illinois was the surrounding guys are good, like your Curbelo and your Bashanishvili and Frazier, DeMonte Williams, Adam Miller, guys like that, right? They'll have their moments, but all of those guys haven't really been consistent throughout the season. And for Illinois, last week, they actually had a tough road game against Michigan State. This was the first game when Ayo Donsumu was out for Illinois, and as you would expect, the Illini struggled. They went to East Lansing and took a tough loss. The Spartans ended up getting the dub by a final score of 81-72, and in that game, actually, Ayo did play in that game, I'm sorry, but Michigan State still won. And then this weekend against Nebraska, that was when Illinois actually played their first game without Ayo. But in the 2 games they've played without Ayo, they beat Nebraska 86-70. They then go to Madison, Wisconsin, and beat the Badgers 74-69. And in this game against Wisconsin, I'm not going to lie, going in, I didn't love the Illini's chances at winning whatsoever, just because of the spot. This was their 2nd game in a row without Ayo Donsumu. And I understand that they were able to beat Nebraska the first time without him. That was an impressive win. But let's face facts. It's Nebraska. When you are playing in a league as tough as the Big Ten, those are the games against your Nebraskas and against your Northwesterns that you are really going to have to take advantage of. Wisconsin is a team full of seniors that were playing on senior day. And more importantly, the Badgers were a team that I thought going into this game, it was really important for them to get a W. They have already taken some tough home losses so far this season against Michigan and against Iowa. So I really expected Wisconsin, a team that is full of seniors, playing against a shorthanded Illinois Fighting Illini team. I expected the Badgers to come out firing, and I predicted them to get the win. Well, obviously, that is not what happened, as Illinois gets the win by 5. And really, Illinois didn't play their best game, and they still dominated Wisconsin. For me, that is the craziest part here, and it really shows me that Illinois, when all things are going well and when people are firing at all cylinders, the Fighting Illini are a team that could win a national championship. And in this game, one thing that really impressed me was Andre Curbelo, the freshman guard, former top 30 recruit from my neck of the woods in Long Island. He finished the game 25 minutes, 17 points, and one thing that I have really noticed about Andre Curbelo, right, is there have been moments throughout the season where I watch him and say, wow, this kid is going to be a future Big Ten Player of the Year. I love his relentlessness and quickness on both sides of the ball. But one thing I've noticed is that when him and Ayo Donsumu are on the floor at the same time, he isn't at his best. And sometimes when you look at a situation like that, you have a freshman in Curbelo who is really good. We've seen it. But he doesn't want to take all of the shots, especially as a freshman. And when you have a guy like Ayo Donsumu who is so dominant on the ball, you're obviously going to take a back seat as a freshman. But now, this is why I brought up the point I did at the beginning about different guys having to contribute to be a national championship team. And I think that losing Ayo Donsumu, I understand the timing isn't great right before the end of the regular season, but for Illinois, if the Illini are going to want to win a national championship, and I think that the way their roster is currently constructed, that they're good enough to do that. I really do believe the Fighting Illini are that good. However, in order to win that national championship and to achieve that goal, they are going to need other guys than Ayo Donsumu and Kofi Cockburn to step up. And one of those guys was Andre Curbelo. And I could see on Saturday that for the first time watching Illinois this season, Curbelo looked very comfortable scoring the ball and with the ball in his hands, putting up the 17 points he did. He also went 1 of 2 from 3. The other guy is Adam Miller. He only had 6 points in this game, but he hit his only attempted 3. I think he could be a guy that Illinois is going to really need to step up if they are going to want to win a national championship. DeMonte Williams as well. He had 12 points. Trent Frazier, he only had 6 points, but those are going to be the guys that Illinois is going to need to step up if they are going to want to win a national championship. And here's the good news for the Illini fan. Right now, it's unknown when exactly Ayo is going to be coming back. You obviously are going to want him healthy by the time the Big Ten tournament starts up. But what I will also say is this. Illinois' next 2 games, at Michigan, at Ohio State. Considering the fact that the Buckeyes just lost their 3rd straight game in a row to Iowa, I believe that 4th number 1 seed is as wide open as ever. And I also understand that the Ohio State Buckeyes actually went into Champaign earlier this season and beat Illinois. And that was a really impressive win by the Buckeyes. However, this is a different Illinois team, and this is a different Ohio State team right now. And we'll see what Illinois could do. They will also go to Michigan on Tuesday night. And if they win that game, then all of a sudden, the number 1 seed is really, really in reach for the Illinois Fighting Illini. And I'm going to be very curious to see how Illinois comes out the next 2 games and whether Ayo Donsumu ends up playing or not. Because I'm telling you, I totally understand that the Wisconsin Badgers were an absolute disgrace on Saturday. They did not play a very good basketball game at all. But what I will also say is the Badgers needed that game as much as they could. The Badgers are going to be a tournament team, but right now they are a team to me that is really starting to trend in the wrong direction. And Illinois was able to come into the Kohl Center, a place that you guys all know historically has not been an easy place to win for any team that is playing the Wisconsin Badgers. And Illinois goes into Madison without Ayo Donsumu and not only wins, but they had 11 turnovers in the first half and still led by double digits. Obviously, shooting 61% from the field is going to help your cause there, but still, I was super impressed with how Illinois went into a tough environment without their best player and was like, all right, no big deal. We'll be able to get the job done. And I think, hopefully, these next couple games with Ayo Donsumu out, you will hopefully see guys like Curbelo and guys like Miller and guys like Frazier, along with Kofi Coburn, who will now be in a little bit more of a leadership role. I want to see those guys step up and show me that they could be able to help the Illini win a national championship, because I think the talent on this roster is that good, and I really do hope that Ayo Donsumu ends up playing on Tuesday against Michigan, because, man, what a doubleheader we are going to have on Tuesday between Baylor and West Virginia and Illinois and Michigan. A number of other really good games coming up throughout the week that I just cannot wait for. And Ayo Donsumu, his absence is going to tell me a lot about this Illinois team. It already did tell me a lot, considering the fact that they were able to go into Madison and get the job done. But Illinois is a team that throughout the early portion of the season, when they lost to Rutgers, they lost to Maryland, they lost to Ohio State, there were many times where I was asking myself, okay, as much talent as this team has, how good are they? But over the past couple weeks, besides the one loss to Michigan State, they have been playing phenomenal basketball, and I cannot wait to see what they could do on the road against Michigan, on the road against Ohio State. One more last thought on this game. Once again, the Badgers should be ashamed of themselves, because this was a game that they absolutely needed, and this is a game that you would have thought a team full of seniors playing at home on senior day against a shorthanded Illini team. I really did think this was a situation where the Badgers were going to be able to take advantage, and unfortunately they weren't. Demetric Trice had a crazy ending to the game, scoring the last, 19 points or so, but unfortunately no one else on this Badgers offense was able to help him pick up the slack. And you could tell, man, how about the ending of this game, how much everyone just hates playing against Brad Davison. And he's had a really good career. He's played in a lot of games. But right now, the Badgers are really struggling. And as we speak, they're just keep on moving down in my Big Ten power rankings. And in terms of the teams in the Big Ten that I have making March Madness, their seed line is going down and down. They will end their season, listen to this one, at Purdue and at Iowa. Do we have any confidence in the Badgers winning either one of those games? Personally, I don't. And if this losing keeps on going, it is going to be a tough trip for Badger fans.